Hey guys, it's Will. So while the market pulled back this month, APLD's fundamentals have been doing the opposite. And hardly anyone seems to be paying attention to what we saw happen this week. We're looking at APLD stock recently recovering from a dip that took place yesterday down to $29 as they continue. I think we had some drawings going here. They were stair-stepping up. We started covering them here around a $3 price point earlier this year, and then we saw them really continue this trend and then break out and surge up to about $40 by October. So again, through the summer and into October, peaking out around 40, and then pulled back down to $30 a share before trying to recover and hold that super bullish uptrend and continued back down and then found support here. We did see them, we were looking for a potential 10% recovery yesterday. We did see them actually make about a 7.5% recovery at one point today, up to $33.30. And then they pulled back down. They're currently at $33.17. So we do have some long-term, just to disclose, positions in APLD around 123% up right now. And we're kind of on and off trading APLX as well. And we're actually in another position, APLX, that is down at the moment. Gotta look at what it's at right now. Let's see where we're at. This one's been a little volatile. It's down to about $94 here. I think on around a $5,500 investment, pretty small amount compared to what we normally invest. But we're looking for a potential recovery here on APLD. And we can get into the technicals. It probably doesn't mean much to most investors, or usually wouldn't mean much to me unless I know the other things that are going on, which we'll get into. But again, we're kind of looking for, if they do continue up on APLX, possibly getting up into that 135 to 180, a 50% increase, which over on APLD, we'd be looking at somewhere around a 25% increase on APLD. So again, APLX is a 2x of APLD. So if we are not doing long-term positions, but we're doing shorter-term trades, we oftentimes will trade the 2x. So let's take a look at why the company has been getting momentum and what's been leading to their growth recently. One of the financial indicators has been the summary here of more institutional interest. In the past few months, we've seen increased holders 188 as decreased is at 124. So we're seeing more institutional ownership roll in and more purchases from companies like Vanguard, State Street, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. BlackRock is also a notable holder there. And why is that? Why do we see institutions buying? What's attractive about the company over the last few months, where they've gone from $3 to what is now $33 a share? What has really allowed that to happen? Well, the infrastructure of AI is driven by data centers, because data centers hold all of the computers and the GPUs that drive the growth. And the data center market right now has seen a lot of investment from big companies like Apple and Tesla and Google and Microsoft, all doubling down on the investments in AI. And Applied Digital specializes in building the AI data centers and doing it in a way that's different than traditional methods. Traditional methods would probably be air-cooled, would probably have older infrastructure, probably not renewable sources, probably reliant on the grid, high carbon footprint, whereas APLD data centers, they're focusing on liquid cooling, they're building them near energy sources, so sustainably, and they're doing it in a way that has gotten some interest from some big tech companies, and in turn has allowed them to sign some deals. I was just looking this morning when we were getting some analysis, and I think inside of StockMate, this is our community of investors that we have, and we trade live every single morning. If you guys ever want to tune on in, it's the second link below in the description there for our daily live trading sessions. You can see my entries, see my exits, all that good stuff. There's some really advanced investors, but also some intermediate investors. And then if you ever want to send me a message, you can. But Andrew here, basically, he shared this article from Applied Digital where they secured yet another $5 billion AI factory lease. And I joke, but some of the best insights that we have here on the channel oftentimes come from the investors that are in StockMates. They don't always come from my own research. And what do you know? We were looking at the recent news from Applied Digital, and again, directly from the source. This isn't anything other than direct press release from the company. $5 billion AI factory lease with US-based investment grade hyperscaler at their Polaris Forge 2 ND campus. So the reason this is so powerful is because essentially just in the last few months, if we go back press releases here, let's just take a look, back to here, you had a CoreWeave deal, $7 billion in June. And then you had them break ground on a $3 billion campus here in August, and then finalizing additional megawatts from 7 billion originally here with CoreWeave to increase that to $11 billion. So we're talking just right there about 15 billion. And then they just had this new announcement of 5 billion. So that puts them around $20 billion. Now, if we're looking at the financials, they are still only at, with that pipeline there of about 20 billion, they're only at a market cap of about 9 billion, which by most estimates would deem them very undervalued right now. But the reason they are not trading much higher most likely is going to be related to their revenue. Their revenue right now is currently at $64 million here in the last quarter. And that's not a $9 billion company market cap. So these announcements all came out in the last basically month or so. And so I don't know if I could get this page to refresh. There we go. In the last month, they've come out with these, or 2 months, 3 months with these deals. And so it hasn't showed up on their balance sheet, it hasn't really showed up on their income statement, and it might not show up until their next earnings release, as their last earnings release was just last week. So they came in with good revenue, increased revenue, and they came in with another, they added about $8 billion to their total assets. So those assets surged to over 2 billion. And I don't mean 8 billion, sorry, 800 million they added in assets, not 8 billion. So they're at 2.4 billion in assets with 1.29 billion in liabilities. So that's what's going on. That's why they're getting the momentum. We do see them working with Supermicro. Supermicro, just notably, they work with, did you know they work with XAI, so Elon's company, for the Colossus. And then they're working with NVIDIA, Dell, Intel, and some others. They got some testimonials here from customers there, NVIDIA, even Character AI, which is an interesting one. They're working with them. Personally, I do hold them, so obviously there is some bullish sentiment on the long term for the company. If we see them start to add up to these deals that they've had, we could see them as a $40 to $50 billion potentially valuation, which would be putting them over $100 a share. Now, that's in the future, and that's based on them continuing to execute with the contracts, and then those contracts also seeing through and showing up onto their balance sheet. And so that's something to consider. The other thing too is we were just using Mercatus, and I don't know if you guys know, but Mercatus is this innovative new software that we have at our company that we've developed, and we're thinking about building our own racking systems and having our own mini data centers, because we have Grok and OpenAI and Claude and Gemini, and then we also do mapping. So we give these models data, and sometimes that takes a very long time. Like if I open it up, it's still generating a response about 8-10 seconds later on Applied Digital. And our average when we give all the information that can allow these models to function real time and know what's going on real time, because normally they don't, and we're able to integrate with the best models and give them the best data. This generation took about 15-30 seconds. We're considering building our own mini data centers. You can see some of the projections on APLD. This is, again, we're using the Grok model with the data we provided, and we're getting projections of up to that $37 price point in the next 6 months. And then the 1 year price looking about $40 a share, according to our models here at our company. And so this is something we have users on and we're scaling. And one of the user experience things is like cutting down the time on how long it takes to do generations. And so we're even considering building our own racking system. So I can tell you, like a company like APLD, I mean, I can only imagine a company that's doing, $100 million a year, or $1 billion a year or more, that has, let's say, millions of customers, or a company like CoreWeave, one of their partners, that they're going to be looking for partners like APLD to help set up their own data centers. I mean, we're doing that as a small company here, and so I could just tell you that there's probably a massive demand for APLD and other companies similar as a result of that, and that's just based on the real world market that I'm seeing firsthand as an AI company founder. If you guys ever want to learn this, we are having a breakdown of how this system works, and we are building it out right now. If you ever want to see how companies are connected and then get analysis on the companies from the best AI models in the world, then again, you can always tune on into our breakdown later today. It's the first link in the description. If you guys want to tune on into our daily live trading sessions, again, we're looking for a margin for profit on APLD continuation up into that $35 to $40 range. If the market continues the momentum they have now, that's how it looks. And then they have a support level around $30, $32. If you guys want to join our daily live trading sessions, we're there Monday through Friday. It's pretty early for those of you in California, 6:30 a.m. But if you want to get up early, have a routine schedule with some other investors, then you can join us Monday through Friday. The second link below to tune on in to Stockmates. Appreciate you all. Firing your thumbs up, smash the like button. Do it. See you in the next one. Take care.